that it's not their first Olympics, it's not their second, it's not their third, it's not their fourth. About people that in the last 24 years perhaps have been coming to Olympics every 4 years. Beyond the ministry, in terms of the leadership, in terms of the federation, in terms of NOC, in terms of, we have plenty people who have been, even if Gombe who is president. I'm sure he's attended, countless, and the way I feel is that I don't understand how, because I know how just one Olympics, I know how much it has impacted on me, on my thinking, on my imagination that things shouldn't be this way. Olympics is not what you come and disgrace yourself. So if you want to avoid that disgrace, you must work hard to be able to do well in order not to get out disgraced.
Well, that's the Minister of Sport, Mr. Senator John Owaeno, talking about what happened to Nigeria at the just concluded Olympics in Paris 2024. On the brighter side of things, at least we know that our Paralympics team are set to go out now for the Paralympic Olympics, which will be happening immediately after. Just in case you're wondering, how much did Nigeria vote for this Olympics where we didn't do so well? Well, we did not even do well at all, because yes, we qualified for some final competitions, but we came home with no medals. 9 billion naira was what was approved for that. 9 billion naira. Well, I don't know how it is that we're going to come to terms with the loss that we have experienced at this just concluded Olympics. We also had the same situation in 2012, London 2012. So as it was in 2012, so it is in 2024. How do we ensure that it's not the same way in 2036? I have with me this morning a very seasoned sports administrator. Ahmed Shuaib Gara Gombe is a former chairman of the Gombe State Football Association, and we're going to be talking about our just concluded performance at the Paris Olympics. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning.
Good morning, Mope, and thank you for having me once again.
A rather depressing outing we had at the Paris Olympics. As at Friday, I watched my colleague Cecilia Omorogbe, try to anchor Sports Tonight, and she was finding it very difficult to lift herself out of the mood, out of the disappointment that had become of our outing at the Paris 2024. But some people will say it's no surprise. It's no surprise given, just what it is that we have put into sports over the last couple of years, and it is what we have put in that we're truly reaping. How would you respond to that?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you said Cecilia and her colleagues, they had always been talking about sports, bringing all sorts of resource persons to talk about it. But unfortunately, like I said, when you aggregate the contents of analysis and propositions on Channels TV alone and put it into sports, I can tell you things could have changed. But unfortunately, nobody listens. By the way, you cannot plant onions and cultivate oranges. It's not possible. What you put in is what you get. Unfortunately, what happened in Paris is a product of so many factors, from funding, to infrastructure, to manpower, to accountability, to corruption, and if you like, also to the welfare of athletes. So it's a combination of so many factors. Unfortunately, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is exactly what happened. I've been listening to excuses. Those excuses? Excuses, yes. So the excuses coming from those who are in charge of our sports. Unfortunately, it's not acceptable, because there are other countries who were lesser countries than us, in terms of antecedents, in terms of resources, in terms of even the number, the athletes that we have that did very well. Everyone knows that in the calendar of world sports, 4 years, there is Olympics. So how can you give an excuse that you did not plan, or because you come either as a minister or you come as whoever, that, you have less than 1 year to plan? That is not the excuse we should be talking about. And again, the funding. I do not know where Mr. President is getting that money with all the talks about fixing economy and the rest. I am not sure if I stand to be corrected, if there is any president in Nigeria that has released money within 7-8 months into sports like President Tinubu did. When we came, or rather when he came into office, immediately we had the All African Games in Ghana. He released all the money that we needed in billions. After that, we had the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. He released all the money that we needed. We now had the Olympics. He released all the money that we needed.
Yeah, but even
now,
outside in
apart
AFCON.
from, apart from that, sometimes it's not even the money. Give the vault of a central bank to someone who is not competent. He will waste all the money without result. And that is the problem that we have had. In terms of funding, the federal government did everything possible. Now, before we go to the next stage, it is time for accountability.
Oh, sorry, are you saying, well, maybe you're going to refer to it in the issue of accountability. You just said give somebody the key to the vault of the central bank. He will spend all of the money without showing any results. Are you holding any group of people or any one person responsible for what has happened? Of course, I will start with
unfortunately, I will start with the Minister of Sports.
You hold him responsible?
Yes, I will hold him responsible. He's in charge of sports. When you are given responsibility of an office, you accept everything that comes with that office. You can't have any excuse. Even the president, we are calling his name for everything.
Yeah, but you know that the preparations for sports is not going to be something that happens within the period in which he's coming to office.
That is what I am saying. Everybody knows that in 4 years there is an Olympics.
Yeah.
So whatever situation that he has found on the ground, he still have time, 1 year. I mean, it is not every part of the Olympics that you need 4 years to plan. It's not every one of it. Now tell me, from every sport that we had participated, okay, you are paying camp allowance for players, for athletes in the middle of Olympics. You are paying training grants in the middle of the Olympics. Who does that? You pay them training grants before that. Or are we saying that the training grants also you need 4 years to plan to pay? No. So it is a question of efficiency. It's a question of know-how. And for goodness sake, when the President Minister came, he did admit that he is ready to learn. But unfortunately, when the diagnosis is wrong, the prescription would be wrong, would be faulty. If you say you are ready to learn, then talk to everybody. But you surround yourself with people who cannot give you the right direction. You try now to excise and disenfranchise certain people who are going to look into your face and tell you the truth. As I'm talking to you here, I had the privilege of meeting him when he first came to his first 2 months in the office. I sat down with him, he gave me about 15-20 minutes and I talked to him. He was shocked to what I was revealing to him. He said, please, Gara, can you put this into a document to me, which I did and hand over to him. One of the issues that I raised in that document with him is preparation for the Olympics. And I gave him 43 names of Nigerians. I said, this is a pool of seasoned administrators, journalists, technocrats in sports that can help you. Put them together and ask for advice. None of that was done. And again, in terms of the preparation for the Olympics, I said, put together a task force. Remember, we had a good outing in Atlanta 96.
That was a long time ago.
Yes, long time ago. Why I want to make reference to Atlanta, where we got our first gold medal in the Olympics. We got our first gold medal for Africa in football. How did we get that? Let Alex Akinyele, the former sports minister, may his sorrows in feast. Immediately we came back from Barcelona 92, which we did not do so well, actually. But it's better than Paris anyway. The day we came back, that was when he set up a committee to start preparing for Atlanta. And we prepared for Atlanta, and what happened? The outcome of that initiative is what we got. So, talking about the same on the same line, you cannot sit down and think that the few people around you are the ones that are going to advise you and to prepare you to produce an Olympic outing that Nigerians are going to be proud of. So, like I was trying to say, it's a combination of so many factors. Now, another thing in terms of...
And combination of so many factors, let me quickly come in there, because in the wake of our very disappointing outing, for those who are wondering why I said, will it be, how do we prevent such a situation from happening in 2036? I'm not implying that the Olympics only happen every 12 years, but it does appear that every 12 years, we come home with no medal. I mean, in 2012, at the London Olympics, we came home with no medal. 12 years after, in 2024, we're coming home with no medal. How do we know that in 2036, we will not come home with any, if we continue in this manner? But some people will say, Alhaji, let me come to you, to what some people will say about how, there needs to be preparation. Because at the grassroots level, there have been lots of articles written on what has happened with our performance so far, so good. I don't know whether you have seen this particular one written by DK Chukwumerije, who was pretty prominent in the university taekwondo in those days. His brother, Chika Chukwumerije, is a medalist, an Olympic medalist. And he talked about his experience, even for Nuga, things as simple as Nuga, our national sports festival, and how preparations are always awful for even those, sports that are happening at a national level. So it's no surprise what is happening at the international stage. We take that, what he calls perennial anyhowness, to the international scene. So if we're not doing great by our local athletes, isn't it that same attitude that we will transmit to the international stage? Yes,
like I said, you cannot plant onions and expect to cultivate a banana. It's what you put in is what you get. Completely, we have abandoned school sports. And let me give you this example. Last year, I organized inter-primary school athletics championship in Gombe State.
Inter-primary school?
Inter-primary school. Without single kobo from government. I did that. When I did that, Athletics Federation of Nigeria could not even send even a single letter of encouragement. It does not matter to them. Secondly, the same Athletics Federation of Nigeria produced a calendar of events for 2024. There was no single grassroots competition. Everything is travel. 95% of the content of that program is travel. Outside Nigeria, there is no grassroots. As I speak to you, we have training grants for development of grassroots sports in world athletics. For 3 years, Athletics Federation of Nigeria could not access it. For 3 years. So we abandoned it. Now, coming to that, go back to our school's curriculum system. We should have, or rather we had included in the curriculum of our schools the physical and health education. That's where the school sports starts. We abandoned the school sports. I had been saying there should be synergy between the Federal Ministry of Education and Federal Ministry of Sports and see how these school sports could be. The School Sports Federation, Youth Fund, and all these organizations were meant to develop sports at the grassroots. So from there, they now progress. Now we had, if you see the products of what we had in Gombe, from that inter-primary school, they went to youth games in Asaba, they got some medals. They went to MTN champions in Jos, they got some medals. Now we are doing secondary school by next year. That is the way to go. And we are saying that is the template. If every state in Nigeria is going to do that. Chukwumerije that you talked about, I met him about twice.
Which one of the Chukwumerijes?
The Olympian.
The Olympian.
The Olympian.
Okay. But it was his brother, DK, that wrote the article.
Yes, we discussed about that training program. He came in with some beautiful ideas, but who listens to him? None. Igali, who is a commissioner now in Delta State, wrestling, they are doing very well because he's a commissioner. If he's out of Gama, I don't know what will happen. Now, there are so many initiatives. Now, Nigerians are in diaspora. Many of them, they have ideas. They have ways to contribute from training, apart from training, from equipment, from know-how, from even contacts. But nobody wants to listen to them. I remember one of these, our foremost athletes in basketball, Hakeem Olajuwon. There was a time Hakeem shipped a container load of various equipment to Nigeria some years back. That complete container disappeared to support sports in Nigeria. So there are so many letters. So like I said,
that container disappeared.
Yes. Sports industry in Nigeria today, I can tell you without apology, is one of the, if not the most corrupt industry you can think of, where there is free money without accountability. I have never seen anybody in the sports industry that has gone to prison, to jail for mismanagement or misappropriating funds. And that is why people do what they like and get away with it.
And you're just about to talk about accountability, even though sometimes, I mean, these days, sports has also become political, because we know that when, you know, if our athletes had done well now, the administration would have taken some credit. Sports minister would have been very happy, would have taken the medals to the president with the athletes and would have all been happy. And, you know, perhaps even the administration will add it to their list of things that they have done well, list of accomplishments and achievements. But this is how it has now become. We did not win anything, despite the best efforts. And I think that must be said, despite the best effort of our athletes. And some of them have really, really given themselves to their craft, regardless of what is going on around them. We can cite, is it the Tigress, you know, who really made an effort, especially at the quarterfinals, pushing Nigeria in the basketball game. We saw them in Paris. Is it our athletes, you know, who continue to make great strides in spite of all that is happening? I mean, but right now, we know that Mr. Peter Obi has called for a probe into what is currently happening within the sports arena, that this particular embarrassment shouldn't happen again. Is it something that you agree with?
I want to say this, politics aside, whatever Peter Obi said is correct, is right. He's in Nigeria, he has the right to call for probe. And most of us are called for proof, not only of the Olympics. We have to prove the All Africa Games in Ghana. We have to prove the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. I can tell you, the billions Mr. President released for payment of Super Eagles allowances, they have not been paid. They have not been paid.
As we speak?
As we speak. They have not been paid. If they paid, let them publish. I challenge anybody to come here and present to you that they have been paid. They have not been paid. And let me tell you, these girls that you saw, the Tigress, they did well. Most of them are in diaspora. They take their career on their own, sponsor themselves to get to where they are. Even the coach, Wakama, who turned out to be the best coach of the Olympics, all that she has done, she was in diaspora. There is nothing we contribute as a nation to their development. If the former minister of sports, Sunday Dare, did not suspend the Tigres for 2 years from participation, which they missed one of the world championship, if they had gone that, their experiences they are going to get from that, they could have gone beyond quarterfinals of this very Olympics. So these are some of the things that we always lament and we talk about. Now, this accountability that we are talking about, everywhere in the world, Mope, sports is a private sector-led industry. It's never a government thing. Government only provides the enabling environment. In Nigeria, it's the other way around. Because government always release money to the industry. And most of the things our administration do is to blackmail the government. Because they know people follow sports to blackmail government. Nobody does that anywhere in the world I have seen, where government is taking the lead, releasing money anyhow without this accountability. Now, most of the major sponsors in the corporate world, and that's why I said there is no serious corporate organization that you see him putting this in. All the ministers of sport that we have had, there's none of them that did not invite the private sector to come into sport. They will not come. These are companies, multinationals, who believe in transparency, accountability, and good governance. And these are factors that are absent from management of our sports. CBN, Mobile, Coca-Cola. Do you know it was Coca-Cola Championship those days that produced the likes of Bose Kapo, Funkyo Ishinashike, and Atanda Musa, and the rest of it? Where are they today? In tennis, we have CBN Championship. Do you know there was a time in this country, CBN were sponsoring football, called CBN Cup. prize money, just 5 million between Lagos and Abuja. Someone took a plane from Abuja to Lagos to Abuja. As he landed, he said the money got missing. And nothing happens. Until that time, CBN pulled out from sponsoring of sports. What happened to Mobile and Track? Total. Mention them. Mike Adunaga was one of the major businessmen in Nigeria that came to Glo, through Glo to sponsor sports. He pulled out. Name them. There are so many examples I can give you. Even Super Sports that came from South Africa. All of them pulled out for these three factors. We are not transparent. We are not accountable. We don't promote good governance in it. So nobody is going to come. Are
we irredeemable? Is it an irredeemable situation?
We are irredeemable. It depends on leadership and political will. Let Mr. President tell us today he's ready to send some people to jail. We provide the evidence to send some people to prison. No single person in sport has been sent to Kirikiri prison or Kuje prison. That is why people go and collect money, waste it, and nobody asks them a question. We had somebody in this country that embezzled billions in money of sports, but he came back now to ask Nigeria to sponsor him or promote him to go for FIFA elections. ICPC and EFCC, if they are serious, they want to go deep into sport, they have so many petitions before them. What did they do with it? So if we are not serious, it's not the issue that we are not irredeemable, whether do we have the political will. So we have to go in. By the time we do that, and I want to say, I heard the minister saying that the sports is not going, the next federation's elections is not going to be, will change the
leadership,
the face of Nigerian sports. No, it is not about sports federations elections. It's not about their constitutions. There's nothing wrong with the federation's constitution. Yes, there is something wrong with their electoral processes, but there's nothing wrong with their constitutions. The minister should know that all these constitutions are aligned to the international bodies. So you cannot just sit down in Nigeria and change it. It is our will to make sure that the right people are there. No, Nigeria Olympic Committee, for instance, they receive grant from International Olympic Committee every year that there is Olympics. They receive grant. Has anyone asked them, how much are you receiving from outside? All the federations, all of them, without exception, we have 32 or 36 Olympic and non-Olympic sports. 90% of them used to receive grants. Where has that grant been coming from? What do they do with that grant? Who did they tell about that grant? There are a few of them, the presidents of the federation, who use their personal money. That's okay. It's interest. You ask for it, you have to. But the laziness of us and over-reliance of government, of lack of accountability, that is why we always sit down and we wait for the government to bring in money. And when the government does not do that, we now blackmail the government and we said the government did not do that. Do you remember? I listened to one of the former sports ministers saying that he borrowed money from 15 million from late Upanyuba to fund Olympic Games this in preparation. I'm not sure if he has paid late Ivan Yuba that money. The same minister borrowed $300,000 from one Yomi Udowu, who is based in the United States. As at the time our team was stranded in Atlanta, 3 days to our opening game in Brazil Olympics. Till today, they have not paid him. The same minister, former minister, and the former president of the federation collected that money from that guy. Yomi Udowu is still alive, he's not dead. And I remember, I think it's in the DNA of the family. It was his father who gave us the first 100,000 naira in 1990 to start the league we are doing. So when I listen to people coming to talk about management of resources in sport, I said, let us have a transitional disengagement of government from funding sports.
Okay, so while we have that, while the administrative side is being, set up properly, what should happen to the athletes in the meantime? Because we cannot just wait until that is done before we begin to concentrate on the athletes who are going to go for the next Olympics.
We need a presidential committee with a clear mandate, first and foremost, to go around the world, pacify, talk to our athletes. We have so many athletes outside there that are running for various countries. I'm not too sure if this lady, Ophili, will not change her nationality because of what happened. And that lady, it was just excuses they are giving. They punish her because she did not run in Cameroon. And she's not the only one who did not run in Cameroon. They tried to punish her. They removed this in her name. And psychologically affected her performance. Look at Toby. You know, Toby Amusan. When she went to All Africa Games, as at the time even they finished All Africa Games, 3 months after, her ticket refund to come to Ghana was not paid. So all this is, first and foremost, like I said, let us go after all those diasporans. Because as of today, they are the ones who are helping Nigeria. Secondly, we come back home and revive school sports. 3, we have to entrench accountability and prove to punish some people because the records are there. 4, we have to develop manpower. 5, and give what do you call it, a template for accountability. This same minister, I told him, ask the Sports Federation to be giving you quarterly report from finances to technical to management, so that you will know what is happening. I don't think if he has done that. So these are some of the things we have to put in and go back to revive schools. Can you imagine 9 billion? We have not put one goal post.
Really, really a shame. Really a shame. And I see the messages here from some of our viewers on this particular matter. Amadou Emmanuel says Nigeria's performance was applaudable on the athletes' part, but a total embarrassment on the Ministry of Sports part. You could tell the athletes gave it their all. How can a whole nation not be able to prepare for a tournament that everybody knows happens? I think you mean every 4 years. Every 4 years, 2 years here. I can't imagine being that athlete that had to borrow that tricycle.
Yes, tricycle from Germany.
From the Germans. It is really an embarrassment.
How much is it that you cannot go into the next shop across in Paris to buy?
These are some of the scandalous stories that we heard, but we really do hope that, you know, we are able to do something and turn the tide.
We'll even borrow relay button.
We sincerely hope that will not be the situation. We hope that this will be the last Olympics that will come back medalist. But I have to thank you so much for coming on the program this morning. Ahmed Shuaib Gara Gombe is a former chairman, Gombe State Football Association. Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you for having me.
First is Akimbo Ewa. We also see your tweet here that our country with over 200 million people could not win one medal in Paris Olympics is something to mull about. It is embarrassingly embarrassing. And I totally concur with you on that. Well, thank you so much for watching this morning and for being a great part of this program. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Mao Yusuf, wishing you a very great day ahead.